let's have a quick look at what's been going on. Quite a bit, well, I say quite a bit done in here. Expanding the system. So obviously last year we ran with buckets. We added earlier this year these totes, which are doing really well. You can see, you know, the size of them lettuce, absolutely huge. There's a few bok choy mixed in there as well, and the root growth, look at that, spot on. Now one downside of these is they're going to move to bubblers. I did use misters, seemed like a great idea. Apparently it's not, because they've started shitting the guts out. So I noticed today when I came in, this corner lettuce, which was above this, was dead, and you can see the roots are pretty fucked. Done gone shitter guts on us, that one did. So yeah, I think we're just going to move over to bubbles. So I'll show you what I mean in a second when we move down the system. But I think what's happening is the roots are growing into them misters, and then they're just failing. Cucumbers and tomatoes are doing well, putting on some real good growth there. Getting challenging to keep on top of the runners. This cucumber, no maintenance to it yet. I'm just going to keep that as one straight line, so snipping the runners off that one. Got some love in the mist and some just having a brain fart. Petunias there. Now, extra additions to the system. We've got a big bubbler in the corner. So this one is running off the hydroponic system, the main reservoir down the back there, up, water supply comes in, overflow at the top. This is a DWC, so it's a deep water culture, this one, with an air tube going in. Now at the moment the airflow isn't the best. You can see there, not that impressive. A bit worrying of why it's so low as well. Can't see all that being evaporation. I've got a feeling what happens is when the system actually stops running, this tube where the water comes in, I've got a feeling that it's actually sucking down, so it's back siphoning into the main reservoir, because obviously water wants to go downhill. So that's just a case of me taking that off and making the water in a bit higher. Now in there we've got legumes and one little branch that fell off my oh god almighty, my brain today begins with a C. Ceanothus. I don't think it's going to strike, but it might do, you never know. So we've got a spaghetti squash, a loofah, Ten Commandments gourd, and another spaghetti squash. The idea with these is they go up. I'm going to take this panel out of the greenhouse, and then they're going to go outside. So watering will all be taken care of. The only thing we need to be careful of with them is they're extremely water hungry. I had one courgette in the system last year that was there, that had drained the system in almost a day if it got a snap in the stem, because it bled water, so I'll have to keep my eye on them. Here's some more additions to the system. These are, again, if we go down, we can see that they've got overflow piping high up. So again, they're a form of DWC, deep water culture, but again, linked and running from the main reservoir that runs the Dutch buckets. And if we lift the lid up, you can see we've got a bubbler running in there to keep the water nice and fresh. Water supply coming in, and then this one starts here, this one overflows into this one overflows into that one, and then back into the system. Each one's got their own water supply though, so each one's getting fresh water, so we should have good nutrients. Now in here we've just got some tomatoes. These are clearly strawberries. I don't know what I was thinking. A lot of these were from paths and stuff that that I wasn't intending to keep. They were probably weeds more than anything. But we'll go on to why I'm just trying to start them, and a few tomatoes that I've just kept as backups. They're looking quite good actually in these DWCs. This one didn't have any root system when it first went in, and now you can see it's developed quite a nice one. Here's the challenging part, getting it back in without tearing all the roots off. There we go. sweet aperitif tomato and a black tomato. The jalapeno isn't doing very well, it's not putting on much growth. Next addition to the system, NFT rail, nutrient film technique. So this one's been installed, again running from the main tank. Everything you can see for simplicity is running off this main tank. This is made out of some leftover, I've just done the guttering at the house, I can sure that was, and this I ordered one too many, so I thought I'll turn this into a DWC, an NFT rail. So water, this one actually comes out of here, so this is coming off, in a past video I showed you that petrol transfer pump, submersible pump, that's running up this clear hose line, all the way up and then down to the end. So this comes up and in here, so it goes in the end, water runs down and then out of the overflow, flow past down, around and there. Not the neatest job, but it was more of just a trial to see how it fits, and I need to tidy this up. There's also one problem I've got with it, that the water level's too deep. I 3D printed the end caps for these because I couldn't find them, 68mm, but you can see, I don't know because the sun's incredibly bright, the water's way too deep, and from other videos I know these systems can be a bit of a pain in the arse, because the strawberries roots will grow in and block the flow of water and then start overflowing. Because this is linked onto my main tank, it would mean that then the whole system runs dry, but I do have the backup that these are actually bubblers, so even if the system runs dry and the pump runs out, this will still have a full tank of water. Same goes for the Dutch buckets, it'll still have a supply of water in the bottom, probably a good 2 inches of water in the base. So from experience last year, I know I can go about a week with it running out of water before it severely affects the plants. And apart from that, there's no new additions, apart from this is a project that's going to start. Just waiting for the next paycheck because I spent it all on guttering this month. This is going to be a wait for it, aquaponics. So right, sorry about that, ran out of memory. Yeah, aquaponics. Now, I'm not sure of the feasibility of running an aquaponics system in a greenhouse in the UK, just due to the temperatures, whether they'll be able to stand it. I know it gets up to about 40 in here in the peak of summer. Now, what I think I'm going to do, because it started getting warm, is set this system up anyway, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll just use it as like a ebb and flow slash, I don't know, hydroponic slash aquaponic bastardization of growing format, and I'll monitor the temperatures. This one is intended, to be honest with you, the whole system I'm looking at probably moving over to solar. The panels are getting cheaper now, so we'll see how I get on with that, but this one's definitely going to be run off solar because I've already got a solar panel that'll be able to power it. And I'm probably going to set it up without fish, well no, definitely without fish to start with, and see what kind of temperatures we keep in the actual tank, and I'll probably remake a hood for it with a cooling system, which will literally be some simple fans that should increase the evaporation. Obviously I'll have to firefight the increased evaporation of water, which will reduce the water in the system, but it shouldn't affect the nutrient levels, so as long as I've got a water supply coming off the rainwater tank, we should be good to go. This one's going to, I've just waiting for it to be delivered, hole saw through the glass up here at the top, and this will be an overflow system. So this one will be pumped up, so let's talk about it. So this will be having a constant supply of water down this end at the base, which will then flow through, overflow at the top, then down into this one. Now I don't know whether to go for a ebb and flow or a siphon system, I don't know, I'll work out that later. Into this one, which will then have the expanded clay, which I've got a bag there of that ready to go in the system. Then another bucket here, which will have tall plants in it, so it'll actually only have 2 trays. So this one down here, and I'm intended for this to be herb. The reason is I don't have any herbs growing at the moment in the greenhouse. Well, I do, but they're in pots. herbs grown in the water systems, aquaponics, hydroponics, whatever. So that'll be handy, and also they're not so needy on their nutrients and stuff, so hopefully they'll be a bit more resistant. Top one will be intended as a starting bed, so this is where it'll start. When they're mature, they'll move down to there. When they're mature in there, they'll be harvested and then either moved back up into here to start growing again, or thrown out and the new plants up here will go back down into there. Then at the base here, there's a reservoir, so the water will go into this one will go across, overflow into that one, which will go across, overflow into the main tank at the bottom, where there'll be a small submersible 12-volt pump, which will pump it up, back into the tank at the left hand side, move across and over again. The thing I like about this one is that if the system goes wrong, the pump breaks or anything else, then the tank won't empty itself completely. So if at any point I do manage to keep fish in it with the temperatures, then they'll be fine. So yeah, and that's about it really. Nothing else to say. Doesn't that cyanothis look nice? I need to get that in a bigger pot really. I love these. My mother had a massive one in the garden like a tree, but they're extremely brittle and it blew over in the wind. Apart from that, that's that. Everything else in the greenhouse is just doing as normal. Got some plants starting, some love in a mist, some Arinthiums, snapdragons, some nasturtiums, some gay feathers, liatris, something, petunias we've already discussed, petunias. Chilies are doing okay, sort of, starting to put some out. What I'm worrying about with these is they're starting to flower already. You can see they're budding, which normally means they're going to turn to shit. So we'll see how that goes, and we've got a few more up the top here, which started late. Trying them in a bit of John Innes this year. Tried it before and it wasn't very good, so I'll give it a go again. And then the fig just stopped figging. You can see it's got some kind of deficiency or something. The leaves are speckled and they're not forming properly, so I need to have a Google, but if anyone knows why that is, it'd be much appreciated. I've got this horrible feeling I might have over fertilised it early on in the year. And apart from that, we've got some bulbs and shite down the bottom there. And yeah, that's it really. Quite excited to see how these strawberries do. Got a good selection out of the garden of just wild ones that I brought home from other places, and bought ones from the garden centre that were not expensive, but they seemed fancy. Lots of different varieties. So we'll see how we get on. Anyway, cheers for watching. Bye.